This is a playful vinyasa practice designed to build up to dragonfly pose. Dragonfly is a challenging pose. It's an arm balance, it's a twist, and we're going to work up to it gradually through this flow. But even though it's a bit challenging, for me, it really seems to evoke this sense of playfulness and whimsy. And that's really what this entire practice is designed to evoke. So let's have fun with it. We'll start in child's pose, a pose itself that really serves as an embodied reminder of the importance of childlike wisdom, the importance of being open to all of the magic and all of the wonder that life and yoga practice have to offer. So as you begin here, check in with your breath. There's nothing to fix, nothing to change. Simply notice when you're breathing in and when you're breathing out. And notice the places in your body that move as you breathe, especially in the back of your body. As you inhale, can you feel the back and side rib cage expand? Can you feel your waistline and lower back expand and get a nice little stretch? And as you exhale, you simply relax fully. And can you find here an even inhalation and exhalation? Even in length and even in quality. And even imagine that you could chant the sound ah with every single breath. You won't actually make a noise because your mouth is closed. It's as though you could chant ah on the inhale and ah on the exhale. So your throat stays open and relaxed. And even as you transition into ujjayi breath, that slight constriction of the throat, so you create a soft whisper sound, can you still keep that ah-like quality? So the throat stays a bit open, and your breath stays sweet and smooth, relaxed and fluid, to carry you through this whimsical flow. As you stay with your smooth, even ah quality of breath, we're going to transition into a lateral stretch in child's pose. So walk your hands forward to straighten your arms. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, walk your hands over to the right. And don't walk your hands past your head. You still want to frame your head with either arm here. And if you'd like to enhance the side stretch, place your left palm on top of your right palm, and you can bring your right elbow down to the floor. And get a nice long stretch on your left side. Even draw your left hip crease back. And just enjoy the fullness, the expansion that you feel on this side here. Take one more full breath cycle, one more inhale, one more exhale. And then on an inhale, walk back to center. And on your next exhale, walk over to the other side. Walk your hands to the left. Again, your arms will still frame your head. And you can place your right palm on top of your left palm to enhance the stretch and just allow your left elbow to relax toward the floor. And now enjoy this full expansive stretch on your right side. Draw your right hip crease back. Relax your face and jaw. Take one more full breath cycle here. And then on an inhale, walk back to center. And then let's come forward to hands and knees, table pose. Line up your wrist creases so they're straight across, parallel with the top of your mat, and spread your fingers evenly apart. Stretch your right leg straight back behind you and keep your toes tucked under. We're going to do a little bit of core work here. Even press a little more weight into the ball of your right foot. And even press your hands down and forward a little bit as though you could push the floor away, but do this without rounding your back up. See if you can feel a little extra engagement in your low belly, your deep low belly. And now imagine that you could pick your left knee up off the floor. Just imagine to start. And now see if you can. Pick your left knee up off the floor and let it hover. The left knee will tend to dip. Can you lift it an inch higher so it's level with the right one? Good. Breathe here. Stay here. And then stretch your left foot back to meet your right foot. Plank pose. And then press back, downward facing dog pose. Take a full inhale and exhale. Imagine getting longer in all directions. And then softly lower your knees to the floor. Let's come back to table pose for the second side. Stretch your left leg straight back behind you, toes tucked under. Press a little more weight into the ball of your left foot. Press your hands down and forward like you're pushing the floor away. Keep your gaze about a foot in front of you. Imagine you could pick your right knee up off the floor and then hover it just an inch up off the floor. The right hip will tend to dip, so you may need to lift it a little higher so it's level with the left one. Stay here, breathe here, and then stretch your right foot back to meet your left foot, plank pose. Now hold here in plank pose. Keep that action of pushing the floor away to find that little extra tone in your belly. Keep that and resist your hands back toward you. See if you find a little extra lift between your pubic bone and navel. Can you lift your inner thighs up toward the sky without sticking your butt up in the air? Stay here. Remember the breath in your back and side ribs. And now shift your shoulders forward an inch past your wrists and lower your knees softly to the floor. Lower down for a little chaturanga push-up only as far as you know you can press back up, and then press back up. We'll do this a few more times. Lower down. You don't have to squeeze your elbows in tight. It's more important that you stay broad across your collarbones and that you don't let your shoulders dip below your elbows. Do a couple more of these little chaturanga push-ups. I often have my elbows flared just about as wide so they're pointing toward the back corners of my mat. Go ahead and do one more. And now this time lower all the way down to your belly. Good. Stretch your legs back. Then walk your hands back so your wrists are right underneath your elbows. Again, you don't have to squeeze your elbows in all the way to your rib cage. You want to stay broad across your collarbones. So it's okay if the elbows flare out just a little bit. Now from here, tuck your toes under. Keep your knees on the floor. We're going to come up into a reverse chaturanga. So your toes will stay tucked, your knees will stay down, and you're going to lift your pubic bone, your navel, your rib cage, and your sternum. So you're right back in that low chaturanga. You can stay here, or you can lift your knees up off the floor for a full chaturanga, and then inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. That is not an easy one. Take a full breath in, and exhale, imagine getting longer. Now walk your feet together. Inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, look toward your hands. Hold out your exhale as you step, walk, or hop your feet to your hands. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. And then for this first one, separate your feet about hips width apart. So that's about as wide as 2 of your fist distance. Bend your knees as much as you need to in order to get all of your fingertips onto the floor or blocks. And so that instead of feeling a big stretch up near your sitting bones, you feel it a little more toward the middle of your hamstrings. You can stay here, or for an additional shoulder stretch, you can interlace your hands behind your back, bend your elbows, broaden through your collarbones, and then reach your hands away from your pelvis, up and forward. If you keep a little bend in your elbows here, that'll help you stay broad across your chest. Notice if you're shifting your weight back into your heels. If that's the case, shift a little more forward so your weight is centered over your arches. If your hands are clasped on an exhale, release your fingertips back to the floor. Bend your knees a lot, walk your hands to your hips. Point your elbows to the sky. Stay strong in your feet and lead with the back of your heart to rise up to standing. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. We'll move into a little vinyasa flow. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Take a halfway lift. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your right foot way, way back into a lunge. Press all of your fingertips into the floor. Press a little more weight into the ball of your right foot and lift your right inner thigh up toward the sky. Keep that and lift your left heel up off the floor like you're wearing a high heel shoe. Press into the ball of your left big toe and move your left knee toward the pinky toe side of your foot. Keep the knee tracking more toward the pinky toe side as you slowly lower your left heel down, especially ground through the outer heel. Keep your back thigh lifting up. Sink your front thigh forward, and then climb your left hand up onto your left thigh. Press your left thigh down. Take an inhale, lengthen through your spine, and as you exhale, twist, belly, rib cage, chest to the left. You can bring your left hand to your pelvis, or if your shoulders are totally stacked on top of each other, you can extend your left arm up toward the sky. Keep your back thigh lifting up. With every inhale, find a little more length through your spine. With every exhale, a little more twist. You can even think of initiating the twist from the back of your right ribs, so it goes all the way around. Take one more breath cycle here. And then on an inhale, touch the floor, plant your hands and step back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, inhale, shift forward to plank pose. Lift your inner thighs up without sticking your butt up in the air. Shift your shoulders an inch past your wrists and lower down through chaturanga. You can lower your knees or not. Come all the way to your belly for this first one. Stretch your legs back and lead with your chest to rise up into cobra pose. Can be a low or a high cobra. Broaden your collarbones, lift your sternum, open your throat, and then exhale, release all the way back to the floor. Keep your shoulders at least as high as your elbows. Tuck your toes. Keep your knees on the floor. We're gonna press back up through that reverse chaturanga. Knees down, lift, pubic bone, navel, rib cage, and sternum. Now you can lift the knees. Inhale, press up to plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Exhale, get longer in all directions. And then step your right foot forward for a lunge. Good, take as many steps as you need to get there. Press a little more weight into the ball of the left foot and lift your left inner thigh up. Keep that as you come onto the ball of your right foot, like that high heel shoe. Press into the ball of your right big toe as you move your right knee toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Keep the knee tracking more toward the pinky toe side as you lower your right heel down slowly, ground through the outer heel. Lift your back thigh up, sink your front thigh down, and climb your right hand onto the top of your thigh. As you press your right thigh down and forward, lengthen your spine. Twist your belly, rib cage, and chest to the right. Bring your right hand onto your pelvis, and if your shoulders are totally stacked, extend your right arm up toward the sky. Use your breath to explore the twist. With every inhale, even back out a little to find more length through your spine. With every exhale, twist from the back of your left ribs. Enjoy one more breath cycle here. And then on an inhale, touch the floor, step back to downward facing dog, shift forward to plank pose, shift forward so shoulders come past your wrists, lower down chaturanga, your choice, cobra or upward facing dog, and let's all make our way back and meet up in downward facing dog. Take a full sweet inhale and exhale, get longer in all directions. Then walk your feet together. Inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk, or jump to Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Ground down through your feet, and as you inhale, rise up, reach up. Draw your hands to your heart and bring a little smile onto your face. Remember that yoga practice doesn't have to be that serious. We'll add on to that last flow a little bit, and let's really have some fun with this time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bow forward, Uttanasana. Take a halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, step your left foot back for a lunge. This time your right foot is forward. Keep your legs steady and strong, back thigh lifting up, front thigh sinking forward, and then climb your right hand right back onto your thigh. Lengthen your spine, and as you exhale, twist. Right back into that right side twist. You can slide your hand up to your pelvis, or you can extend the arm up if your shoulders are stacked. Now, from here, we're gonna challenge our balance a little bit. You're gonna stay in the twist, so keep the twisting position, but on an inhale, can you lift your torso up? So your left hand comes up off of the floor. Your arms are like warrior two, but you're still twisting toward the right. And your palms will just face forward. So arms like warrior two, but palms face forward. Remember the breath in your back and side ribs. Let it move through you. Notice if you're reaching way forward toward your right foot, can you get a little bit more centered with your torso? Now, staying steady and strong, on an inhale, we're gonna open up to warrior two. So you'll open up to face the other direction, the other side of your mat. This time you're not twisting, just regular old warrior two. And remember your breath here. If your right knee is dropping in, lift your heel, move the knee toward the pinky toe side of the foot, and keep that as you lower down. Lift the right side of your belly up. Press your left inner thigh back. And stretch your legs apart from each other like you're stretching your mat in two. Then on your next inhale, flip your right palm up. Exhale, reverse warrior. Bring your left hand to your thigh or your calf. Lift the right side of your belly up so you get that stretch through the hip flexor. Press your left thigh back into your hand and then sink your front knee an inch deeper. Take one more inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the floor. Come into a plank or a three-legged plank with the right leg extended. Shift forward, lower down, chaturanga or triyanga. Upward facing dog or cobra, and then downward facing dog. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, imagine getting longer. Relax fully. And then step your left foot forward. Second side. Legs steady and strong. Lift your back inner thigh up. Sink your front thigh forward as you lengthen your spine. Climb your left hand up onto your thigh. And then on an inhale, get even longer. On an exhale, twist from the back of your right ribs. Bring your hand to your pelvis or extend your arms straight up to the sky. Enjoy your breath here. Again, we're gonna take this into the lifted twist. On an inhale, lift your torso up. Your back heel is still lifted, still a lunge, but we're twisting and arms are like warrior two, but palms forward. And again, if you find that you're leaning way forward toward your left thigh, bring your torso back a little bit, just so it's a little bit more centered. On your next inhale, let's open up into warrior two. Spin the back foot flat. Keep the left knee tracking toward the pinky toe side of the foot. Lift up through the left side of your belly. Press your right inner thigh back and stretch your legs apart like you're stretching the mat in two. Inhale, spin your left palm up. Exhale, reach up and over, reverse warrior. Lift the left side of your belly up. Press your right thigh back, even into your hand if your hand is there. And because we tend to come out of the lunge in this position, everybody bend your left knee an inch deeper. Take one more inhale. Exhale, windmill, fingertips to the floor, plant your hands, plank or three-legged plank. It'll be left leg extended this time. Shift forward, chaturanga or triyanga, lower down, up dog or cobra, and downward facing dog. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, relax fully. Walk your feet together. Inhale, lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step, jump, handstand, however you want to get there, just get there. Uttanasana, standing forward bend. And then from this standing forward bend, walk your feet together. Your big toes will touch and your heels are just a little bit apart. And sit your hips low, set up for a chair pose. Hug your legs together, knees, thighs, everything. Sit your hips low. And then even walk your hands back a little closer toward your heels to get even a little bit lower. Keep your knees bent and your hips low. Lift your belly, lift your chest. Keep the breath full in the backside ribs, sit low, and perhaps extend your arms up for Utkatasana, chair pose. Your palms can be apart or together if that feels okay for your shoulders. If your front ribs tend to jut forward, draw them back. Keep the breath full in the backside ribs as you sit low. Lift your belly, lift your sternum. One more breath cycle here. On an inhale, straighten your legs, and then you can bend your knees again as you fold forward. Uttanasana, back to that standing forward bend. Take a halfway lift inhale. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank pose. Shift forward, lower down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Let's meet up there. From here, walk your feet together. Shift forward to plank pose with feet together. You may need to scoot your feet back a little bit. Shoulders over wrist, heels over the balls of the feet. Back of the head in line with the back of the pelvis. From here, we're going to shift into a side plank on your left hand and the pinky edge of your left foot. You can always cross your right foot over in front for stability. You can keep the feet stacked, or you can play with lifting your right leg, perhaps catching the foot and even extending the leg, any variation that you like here. Explore. Keep pushing the floor away so you lift up out of your shoulder joint. Lift your hips high. Now, wherever you are, see if you can bend your right knee in toward your chest. Can you catch hold of the pinky toe side of the foot and pivot on your back foot into a lunge? And then inhale, rise up, high lunge. Remember your breath. Even bring your hands around your rib cage, thumbs around the back, fingers around the sides, and breathe as though you could breathe right into your hands. Remember that fullness, like that dance of the breath. A reminder that the breath can guide you and the practice can just be a playful exploration. You're not necessarily trying to get anywhere. From here, bring your hands to your heart center. Take an inhale to get even longer. And as you exhale from that fullness, twist from the back of your left ribs to come into a prayer twisted lunge. It's technically a variation of Parivrtta Parsvakonasana. Instead of trying to get your armpit way low on your thigh at first, start it with your elbow up a little bit higher so you can really explore the length and the fullness of the inhale and find even a little more twist on the exhale. Once you've taken some time to explore the twist, then perhaps you work the armpit a little lower on the front of the thigh. You could bring your left fingertips to the floor and extend your right arm up. Or you could even take a bind here, wrapping your left arm under, right arm around. Lots of options for this twist. Wherever you are, keep your face soft, your jaw relaxed, and your mind open to new experiences. Take one more breath cycle in the twist, and then inhale, untwist. Your next inhale, rise back up to a high lunge. Now pause here. I'm going to tell you where we're going to go next before we actually go there. We're going to shift the weight onto the right foot, and you're going to come into a gentleman's chair. So that's a figure 4 chair position with your left ankle crossed over your right thigh. So from this high lunge, on an inhale, shift forward so you're just standing on your right foot. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh and sit back. Figure 4 chair or gentleman's chair. Try to level your pelvis, flex your front foot strongly. You can bring your hands to your heart center here. You can bring fingertips to the floor. It's kind of nice if your foot is starting to cramp up a bit, takes the balance aspect out of the mix. Or you can even plant your hands and come into the arm balance Ekapada Galavasana or work toward that. For Ekapada Galavasana, you'll plant your hands and start to shift your weight forward so you can wrap your left foot around your right bicep. Once you have that wrap, you can continue to shift forward, perhaps even floating your bottom foot up off the floor, squeezing it in toward your buttocks. Then you might extend the legs straight back. Those chaturanga-like arms are important here. Stay broad through your collarbones. And then when you're ready to come out, bend your back knee, place your back foot on the floor. Can you come out by coming back into gentleman's chair if you're not already there? Bring your hands to your heart. And then stand upright, uncross your legs, and step forward to the top of your mat. And we'll take that nice little flow on the other side. Walk your feet together. Sit low to set up for a chair pose. Keep your knees bent, hips low, and inhale, rise right up into your chair this time. Take a breath cycle here. On your exhale, sink your hips even a little deeper. And then on an inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bow forward. You can bend your knees again as you bow. Take a halfway lift inhale and either step to plank or jump to chaturanga. Remember the alignment, shoulders higher than the elbows, broad through the collarbones, upward facing dog or cobra pose, inhale. And we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, walk your feet together. Shift forward to plank. This time we'll shift into side plank on the right hand and outer edge of the right foot. And take whatever variation you took on the other side. So cross the foot over in front, keep the feet stacked, lift the leg up, push the floor away wherever you are so you lift up out of the shoulder joint. The pose is really powerful. Then see, can you bend your left knee in toward your chest? Catch hold of the pinky toe side of the foot, pivot on the foot. It's okay if that feels ridiculous right now. It's just for fun. But do make your way into a lunge some way, somehow. And on an inhale, rise up, high lunge. And again, remember your breath, full in your back and side ribs. And as you have that, extend your arms up to the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, full and long. And exhale, twist from the back of your right ribs. Start a little higher up than you might be inclined to go so you have a moment or two to really explore the breath, the length in the spine, the fullness of the rib cage. That'll be important for dragonfly pose, the deepening of the twist. And then once you've explored for a breath or two, you can start to work the armpit lower on the thigh if you like. You can bring your right fingertips to the floor, extend your left arm up. You can even take the bind. And again, it's just for fun. There's no place you have to get today or any day. It's an exploration, a whimsical journey. On your next inhale, untwist, and then rise up to a high lunge. We're going to shift the weight onto the left foot and step forward into gentleman's chair or figure 4 chair with the right ankle crossed over the left thigh. You can bring hands to heart. You can bring fingertips to floor. Or you can work your way into Ekapada Galavasana. For that one, you will plant the hands and shift the weight forward so you can wrap your right foot around your left bicep. With chaturanga arms, you'll continue to shift forward and float the back foot up off the floor. Maybe squeeze it in toward your butt, and then maybe you extend the legs straight back. And then come out of it the opposite way you came into it. Lower your foot to the floor. If you're not already there, come back into gentleman's chair, hands to heart, and then step your right foot to meet your left foot. And then come back to the top of your mat, feet together. Enjoy a few breath cycles here. Remind yourself that it's not so serious. You can come back to this practice again and again. And when that reminder feels settled in, when you feel complete, bend your knees and set up for chair pose. And inhale, rise up, chair pose. Stay in chair pose and bring your hands to your heart. Take a nice full inhale and exhale, twist to your right. Bring your left elbow outside of your right thigh. Your left knee will tend to pull forward. Can you draw your left hip crease back and keep the twist in your middle back, belly, rib cage, chest? Or think of initiating twist from the back ribs. Relax your face, relax your jaw. Take one more breath cycle here. And on an inhale, come right back to center, right back to your chair pose. And exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow to the outside of the left thigh. If your right knee is pulling forward in front of your left one, draw your right outer hip back so knees stay level. Keep your hips low and twist from your middle back, not from your pelvis. Take one more breath cycle. And on an inhale, untwist. Touch the floor, exhale, release, Uttanasana. Enjoy. And we're going to come back into that twisted chair once more. Bend your knees, sit your hips low, rise up into chair pose. And then exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, full breath. Exhale, twist to your right. Left elbow outside of right knee. You can stay here and continue to explore twisted chair, or you can plant your hands and transition into a side crow. Again, just like in Ekapada Galavasana, you'll shift the weight forward, lift your top foot, maybe your bottom foot floats up to meet it. Try not to rest your hips on your right arm. Let that right arm be free. Remember your chaturanga alignment. And then when you're ready to come out, untwist whichever variation you're doing. And let's just enjoy a forward fold before we do second side. And then knees bent, hips low. Rise up, chair pose. Hands to heart center. Inhale. Exhale, twist to your left. Your choice, twisted chair or side crow, Parshva. And again, you'll plant your hands, wrist creases parallel with each other. Don't worry about your mat. Shift forward, float the feet maybe. Remember, chaturanga alignment. You're not resting your left hip on your left arm. And then release what it's time to release. And let's all meet up in forward bend. Enjoy a couple breath cycles here. And then separate your feet, bend your knees, walk your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky, press down through your feet and rise to standing. All right, we're ready to move on to our apex pose, dragonfly. So you'll want to get 2 blocks ready to set up for Maksikangasana, or dragonfly pose, our apex pose here. So this prep that we'll do with the blocks will help you to keep your balance as you prepare for and then move into dragonfly pose. You're going to take the 2 blocks at their lowest heights and stair step stack them on top of each other. So there's a little bit of the top of the bottom block showing, just enough space that you can rest your heel on. You're going to sit on the top block and come into a seated figure 4 position with your left ankle crossed over your right thigh and your left foot flexed. You're going to bring your right heel onto the exposed top of the bottom block and come onto the ball of your right foot. Your right toes stay on the floor, just so you have like a little footrest here. You don't have to worry so much about your balance. The blocks are under your seat, your foot is propped up by the blocks. Then from here, you're gonna work into a twist. With every inhale, find a little more length. Every exhale, a little more twist. You can bring your fingertips to the floor as you twist over to your right. The idea eventually is to work your left foot high up onto your left arm. The closer near the armpit, the better. For some variations of dragonfly, it's actually super important to have the foot really high up. Explore a couple of breath cycles here. We're not going to fly just yet. And on an inhale, untwist. Uncross your legs. And then take the second side. Bring your left heel up onto the top of the bottom block. Come onto the ball of the foot. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Flex the foot so it's hanging off of the thigh. And then start to explore the twist on this side as you work the foot high up onto the arm. You can even play with planting your hands and shifting forward a little before you come out of the twist. And then on an inhale, untwist. Stay with the prep or get ready to fly for this next variation. Again, set up just like before. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Bottom foot resting on the block, heel on the block. And then work your way into the twist. Work your foot up high up toward your upper arm. And again, you can stay here or start to shift some of your weight forward into your hands, planting them on the floor as wide apart as they would be for chaturanga. And as you bend your elbows and shift forward into the arm balance, stay broad across your collarbones. Maybe you float your bottom foot up off the floor, and if you can, then extend your right leg out to the left. This leg position is going to be pretty stable because your right leg can press against your left outer ankle and foot. It's going to be like a little bit of a stop for that foot from sliding. And then when you're ready to come out, bend your knee, plant your right foot, have a seat back on the blocks, or if you kicked your blocks out of the way, keep your seat lifted as you plant your left foot too. Restack the blocks if needed, and set up for the second side. Start to work your way into the twist. And then again, once the foot is high up on the arm, you're in your twist, plant your hands. And as you start to shift forward, think chaturanga arms, broad through your collarbones. Maybe you float the bottom foot up. Can you extend your bottom leg out to the side? And then when you're ready, come out, plant your feet. You can stay with the prep, you can stay with the traditional dragonfly, or you can explore some fun variations with your feet. I'm going to give you two options and you pick the one that's best for you. So you might want to watch this first and then rewind, go back and see which one you like better. So we'll come into the prep as usual, cross your left ankle over your right thigh and work your way into your twist. For these variations, if you're going to work with the other variations, it is super duper important that your foot is really high up on your arm. You're not going to be able to support yourself in the pose if the foot isn't up high, because then it'll slide down. You're going to shift your weight forward just like before, and then once you achieve liftoff, instead of extending your right leg out to the side, bend your right heel in toward the right side of your butt, like a hamstring curl. Your right leg won't be able to press up into the left foot and ankle, so you'll have to rely on your core strength and the stability of pressing your left foot down into your arm. Then from here, maybe you can extend your legs straight back like that Ekapada Galavasana. And then when you're ready to come out, come back to your starting position and plant your feet. So that's one choice. That's choice one, flying dragonfly. For choice two, you can do a mating dragonfly. You're going to come into the pose just like before, just like that setup. Again, super, super important that you have your foot up high on your arm. And as you shift forward into the arm balance this time, instead of extending your right leg out or back, you're going to slide your right foot forward between your hands. This can be deceptively challenging, so take your time. Remind yourself that it's not that serious. If your foot does make it through, wrap your shin around your right forearm. This is mating dragonfly. Take a breath or two. And then slide your foot back to come out of the pose. take a resting breath or two, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So your choice, flying dragonfly or mating dragonfly or regular dragonfly. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Get your heel up on the block so you have that little prep position. And then work your way into the twist. Work your foot high up onto your arm. And again, that's why the blocks are here. So you don't have to balance. You can just take as much time as you need to get into this twist. And then plant your hands, shift your weight, and take your favorite variation. Regular dragonfly, mating dragonfly, flying dragonfly. Remember, chaturanga arms. And when you're ready to come out, plant your feet. Stand up tall. Move your blocks out of the way. And then let's come right onto our backs. Lie on your back, plant your feet on the floor, constructive rest. And because we did a lot of rounding forward in those arm balances, we're gonna counter pose with a bridge pose. So bend your elbows to your sides, and again, they don't have to squeeze in tight to your rib cage, a little space is fine. And then spin your palms so they face back toward your head. That'll help you stay broad across your collarbones. Press into your feet, your arms, even a little bit into the back of your head. Keep space between the back of your neck on the floor, and inhale your hips up. Stay here, interlace your hands underneath you. You can walk your shoulder blades in, but don't pull them down. Broad across your collarbones, lift your chest toward your chin, move your chin slightly away from your chest, and then stretch out through the tops of your legs. And then release your hands and lower to the floor. We'll take one more bridge pose. We did not do a ton of quad stretches or hip flexor stretches today, but if you feel like you could just easily go up into a wheel pose, you're welcome to take wheel. Otherwise, one final bridge pose. Lift your hips on an inhale. If you're in wheel pose, lift up onto your heels. And even play with walking your feet back a little toward your hands. And then keeping your feet parallel, lower your heels and press your chest back through your arms. If you're in bridge, broad through the collarbones, lift chest toward chin, chin away from chest, stretch out through the tops of the thighs. And then as you're ready, if you're in bridge, release your hands. If you're in wheel, draw your chin to your chest so you lower your upper back down first, not your head. And we'll all come onto our backs. Enjoy a few breath cycles here. You can bring the bottoms of your feet together, take Supta Baddha Konasana. Any counter pose for back bends that your body is just naturally inclined to take that. If you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly legs, bring your hands to your outer legs and draw them in toward each other. And then let's take one last gentle twist. Stretch your arms out to a T. Press your feet into the floor, shift your hips to the right. Drop your knees to the left. And twist your belly away from your legs. You can take any leg variation you like in this twist. Eagle legs, or you can catch the bottom foot in your right hand and catch the top foot in your left hand. Do stay broad across your collarbones. And if you like, you can turn your head in the opposite direction of your legs to complete the twist. On an inhale, come back to center. Uncross everything. And then change sides. Press your feet into the floor, shift your hips to the left. Drop your knees to the right. And whatever twist you took on the last side, take that same twist on this side. Just a little counter pose. And again, you can turn your head in the opposite direction of your knees, so toward the left, in order to complete your twist. The backs of the shoulder blades settle toward the floor, face and jaw relaxed. And remember, it's just yoga. It's just fun today. Enjoy your breath and enjoy the luxurious, relaxing end of your practice because you worked really hard. On an inhale, bring everything back to center. And then take a symmetrical shape to finish. So a knees to chest, a happy baby, a Supta Baddha Konasana. Anything where both sides of your body are doing the same thing at the same time. And then when you're ready for Shavasana, Shavasana is ready for you. Let the whole back of your body settle into the support of the floor. And ask yourself, is there anything I could do to make this pose even just the tiniest bit more comfortable? And if there is, do it. Move something out of the way. Get yourself a prop. Support under your head, under your knees. Be as kind to yourself as you would if you were preparing a little child to take a nap. Whatever you need here. Relax your face, relax your jaw, and soften your belly so it's free to rise and fall as you breathe. And as you rest here in Shavasana, you rest in the presence of your breath and of your wonderful, unique, beautiful self. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for a lot longer if you want to. But when you're ready, or when you just need to get on with your day, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Invite in a deeper breath. And make your way onto your side. Wake yourself up just as gently as you would wake up that little child from a nap. And take your time as you come up to seated. And then bring your hands to your heart and bow in gratitude to all of the wonder that's inside you, all of the beauty, all of the wisdom, and all of the potential that you have to offer out to the world every single day. There's a lot. Namaste.